Welcome back to the wonderful world of I don't know what I'm doing. But we're going to figure it out. But seriously, folks, welcome back to Good Enough Customs. In case you haven't been following along, we have been monkeying around with Steve, doing a lot. Steve's had a lot going on. Steve is my 1980 Chevrolet C10 short bed, two-wheel drive, lowered, all the fun stuff. What started off as doing a engine swap and going, yeah, let me fix a little bit of the rust, has turned into basically a frame-on restoration, because I don't know how to say no. Ask my kids, they'll tell you different. Anyhow, I've got Steve pretty well rust-free at this point. I mean, yes, it is missing a very large piece of metal that goes right here. Today, we're probably going to start working on that, getting some sort of template made up. I do have these panels. I purchased these a while back. I mean, I think it was actually the first, this is actually kind of funny, the very first Southeastern Truck Nationals I went to. And since I have all my stickers, when was that, 2019? Yeah, 2019. So these things have been on the shelves for, I won't say 6 years because it is 2025, but it was in July of 2019 is when I bought them. I think I bought them from Slosh Tubs. I think, pretty confident that's where I bought them from. Honestly, I don't remember. I just remember they were a good deal, and I was like, I'm going to need them. Might as well buy them. So these have been sitting on the shelf. They were raw metal. I scuffed them, shot them with some epoxy primer so they wouldn't slowly rot and rust away since, you know, I knew it was going to be a while. And here we are almost 6 years later. I'm finally doing something with them. But we're going to make a template utilizing some Ram board, which finally came in. You can see the tube of it right here. What is this? 36 by 50 foot, 36 inch, 50 foot worth of Ram board. If you're not familiar with what it is, here's what it is. I use it in a lot of new construction and things like that in order to protect the floors from just foot traffic and all that fun stuff. So it's an extremely heavy construction paper. So what I think I'm going to do today is cut out these pieces out of some Ram board. We'll get those guys fastened up here on the firewall where they roughly should live. And then I've got to figure out, so I had to cut probably 1.5 inches of this cowl back because it was so rotted where it goes and it turns down into the actual firewall. So I had to cut a bunch of this off. So I've got to basically, I got to figure out what my distance is, and so I can figure out what type of patch panel to make for this inner cowl. So my thought process was I can make up my Ram board panels. I can get those fastened into place. Then I also can get holes put in it for this guy, since I don't want to accidentally put the wrong holes in the metal parts. So if I make a bunch of holes in the Ram board, that's okay. I can always cut a new piece out. But I can get these guys kind of fastened and set in place, and that way I can kind of figure out what depth I need to make this guy, and kind of, you know, figure that out. And then also we can start looking at what we got to do here, because this part is pulled in. I was going to use off the scrap firewall I have sitting outside. I was going to use those parts for that, but I was like, it's another one of them sensuous things, man. This truck, everything on this truck is sensuous at this point. Cinches in there, might as well. So I'm figuring, hey, why throw a factory piece in here when I'm gonna have a custom firewall? Why not just do a custom, it's not really a trans tunnel, maybe for the bell housing tunnel thing, I don't know, that part of the firewall. So I'm figuring just make a custom piece of that. So once we get the cardboard pieces in on either side, then we can kind of monkey around and see what looks best here. What'll work with the floor, I really don't want to cut the floor. What'll work with the floor, what'll work with the existing dash and all that other fun stuff. So kind of answer a few questions and kind of figure out a path forward on this guy. So all right, everybody got it? You sure? All right. Let's get moving on this. I'm actually going to, I've been working on this guy this morning first thing. Working on this guy while the heater's running, trying to heat this place up because it's damn cold. But getting this guy cleaned up, trying to get all these little hunks of metal off of it, do all that fun crap, so I can start, you know, kind of doctoring this up and getting it ready for, you know, being painted and all that fun crap. So I'll probably finish up this guy so I don't, you know, so I don't do too many squirrel on crack type things today. So I'll probably go ahead and finish this guy up with what I was doing, and then we'll start making some cardboard panels. All right, now that arts and crafts time's over, I know, that's everybody's favorite, but that's over and done with now. So, got these guys just kind of temporarily held up with some squeezy clamps and the only strong magnet I have, which is for welding. But yeah, these turned out pretty good. They're a little tricky because, you know, they're rolled up like that. So when it comes to unrolling, it's going to have that natural curve to it, which this was the outside edge, so it was curved inward. So I tried to work that out as best I could. It's still kind of wanting to bow on me a little bit. And like I said, I've only got one decent magnet, which is over there. I couldn't get a clip on the bottom side over there because it doesn't actually hang below that toe board section. So this side actually goes below toe board. I could clamp him down here, clamp him down up here. He still bows out a little bit here, but, you know, kind of just push that back. No big deal. I did have to go through on these guys and cut that flange off that goes right down through here. Cut that guy off. That'll get stitched up. Did the same over on the driver's side. And got that to where these guys will lay pretty flat. Took that little flange off right there. So it gives me a nice flat edge here. The only thing that I've got left to do here is my brake booster, or my brake pedal booster, master cylinder mount, you know, that whole thing. I got to get my holes marked for that. I went into the truck and ran the bolts up on the underside of the dash. I'll show you real quick. That bracket actually, I know it's a little dark in here, but that bracket actually ties in here where the steering column mounts up as well. So I just ran the bolts up, which tightened up the bracket. It doesn't move. It sits where it needs to sit. And we can figure out where to put the holes by doing this. So figure out where the studs are. That should give me whereabouts the holes are. So there's that one. There's that one. I think the other two are actually a little shorter. Put my magnet off here. Yeah, my other two are a little shorter. So we can take and knock these holes out a little bit. Use a box cutter, what have you. So that gets me there. Now, problem, this actually has changed a little bit. Of course not, why wouldn't it? So now we get to adjust that. Oh God, I love doing this stuff, I swear. Yeah, so you can see it tilted and went uphill. So I need to make my holes a little longer going down and longer going, yeah. So let me adjust this and get this guy lined back up and we'll go from there. I'll be right back. All right, so it looks like absolute trash now, but it's there. God. So Yeah, so I opened those holes up a little bit, let it slide around a little bit, got this thing lined back up and all that. But yeah, so you can see this guy doesn't come all the way down to the toe board. There's a little bit of a gap there. I figure I'm probably going to have to make a little ledge for that. That'll come off and down to meet up on the front here. Part of that's actually handled with this guy. You know, it comes down these holes right there and right there. Those holes actually go down here, and they're spot welded onto the toe board, but we need to seal that off somehow. So probably just cut some of this ram board out and make a little piece that kind of works there. I don't want to leave it flat, so we may angle it up a little bit and give it just a little bit of a ramp, so that way water doesn't have a place to sit, you know, water, dirt, all that stuff. Kind of future-proof it. Not that I'm terribly worried about it. This truck's probably going to spend most of its time indoors, so it's not going to be that big of a deal. But, you know, hey, whatever we can do, let's do it. So this is all pretty well lined up, looking okay-ish, you know, good enough. So I got some thoughts on this section. I'm not sure if those are going to actually work or not, but I do have some thoughts here. So I gotta work this out in my head a little bit better about what I want to do there. But there are some thoughts, but we got to deal with this mess. So there's my gap between, you know, here's the inner cowl area, there's the ram board, you know, right there. So we've got to fill that gap in and give us a little flange to be able to, you know, do some spot welds along this area to kind of give it a little bit more rigidity, a little bit more strength. So I'm still not 100% sure how I want to do that. I guess first things first, probably ought to take some measurements and figure that out, how far out we need to go, how things need to lay out and all that. You know, I got to get some measurements, figure out how deep I need to be to come back onto the existing cowl, put a new piece in there. And I think I misspoke last week, maybe, when I said that it was, you know, it kind of came down and that's what the upper cowl and the firewall attached to. That was wrong. It's actually the upper cowl attaches to it, and this continues on as the firewall. So so that inner cowl is actually this lower portion of the firewall on the sides, and actually kind of in the middle there. As best I could tell, kind of replaying it over in my mind versus how heavy the rust was. So, so it looks like that's actually just one piece. Obviously, we're not doing that here, so yeah. So we'll probably just make a little flange that just kind of flattens off here and goes across to give us something to weld to for some spots and give us a little bit of rigidity there. But my thought in here is to kind of bank it a little bit. You know, before it kind of just did a little cascade, you know, just a little waterfall into the firewall. I really don't want to put a hard 90 on it and then drop down and give this water a place, you know, water, dirt, crap, a place to kind of roll into and just kind of hang out and live and slowly start eating away the metal and rusting and doing all that crap again. So my thought is to put a little bank on it, bring it off of the center piece, basically wherever I welded at, and kind of put it in at an angle coming up. Not a crazy angle, just, you know, just a titch. Just a little something for the water to, when it hits, it'll kind of whoop, and roll back down. And then it can roll back down in this way and go back out the way it's supposed to, which is exit down there. So that's kind of where we're at right now, is there's a lot of hemming and hawing and trying to figure out exactly how I want to do this. I'm thinking one of the better ways to take this is, it's, again, I go back to it constantly. It's like eating an elephant. You just one bite at a time and just go from there. So I think what I really probably ought to do here is just focus on like this section. Focus on getting this measured out, getting this piece, you know, on, getting it welded, getting it cut, bent, welded, whatever, and getting it done basically up to this point, which takes us into the trans tunnel area. So if I can get from here back over to somewhere in this neighborhood. I can get that all sorted out. Then we'll be doing pretty good. And then I can basically do the exact same thing on the passenger side. The passenger side will probably be a little bit easier because there's not as much going on over there. Don't have to worry about the brakes and the, you know, this bracket and all this crap. And then when it comes time to do this guy, I still don't know what I want to do here. I'm not sure the best path to go on that, but we'll figure that out. I don't know. There's a lot of thoughts. I just gotta kind of figure it out. So anyhow, that's kind of where we're at. So I guess let's focus over here on the driver's side. We'll just kind of zero in on this guy and see what we can figure out here. So let me get a few little measurements if I can get some measuring going on here, so I can figure out what my distance is from out here back to where my furthest cut is, and then I can make a patch or something. I can do something, and we can move from there. So I'll let me do all that. I'll be back here shortly. So it's awful cold out tonight. We got this big cold front pushing in. It's Sunday night, actually. Took yesterday off and came out here today. Got to work, but it's boy, the cold's biting outside. It is it's pretty bad. So I think the low tonight's supposed to be like 5. And that Middle Tennessee, we don't do that type of weather, so I'm having to run the big heater quite a bit to knock the chill out of the air here in the shop. This little guy, if I try to run him, it just cranks the electric bill. So I'd rather spend a little bit of money in diesel fuel and run that guy every once and again, as opposed to cranking this guy all the time. But just trying to keep the chill knocked out. So running that guy, can't really talk. So it just got done with the cycle. It's really toasty in here right now, so we can go ahead and talk while we got time. So got my measurements done over here. Basically the length I need right in through here is around 22 inches. It's probably closer to 21 and a half, but give myself a little extra, 22 inches. And my depth back here in the cowl, it varies from 1 1/4 down to 1 inch, roughly. So what I did was I went ahead and just did 1 1/4 inch and measured everything out. You can kind of see my notes. So right there where the bend is, it's roughly 1 1/4 inch. Did that with about a 3/4 inch overhang. So this will be my flange, and this will be the replacement part to go in the cowl. And you can see I bent it a little bit more than 90 degrees. So that'll give me that little bit of ramp that I'm looking for. So got that part cut out, bent up, kind of ready to go. The fun part's going to be trying to make sure everything kind of jives, and then cutting and getting this guy kind of worked in. So let me go over here. I'm going to make a few marks on the top here, so I know exactly where things need to line up, so I don't have to worry about trying to get everything lined up again. So that way I can get some marks made, I have some reference, and I can pull this guy off, and we can take my little patch and see what's going on there. I'm not sure how I want to get this guy in there. I know it's not just a super flat, straight piece of metal. I know it's going to have some bends in it, so we may end up taking and cutting a few little relief slots down through here, so that way we can bend it and kind of shape it how we need. But yeah, that's kind of the plan for right now. So let me make some marks and get this piece of cardboard off, and then we'll just continue on from there. All right, so this is what we got so far. Just, it's very loosely mocked up, but I got a little bend going down here. That should be okay. It needs to come down just a little bit more, but until I actually get things tacked in place, that doesn't really matter right now. But we are pretty lined up. If you can see just down here, I don't know if you can see this or not, but just right in this neighborhood is the original last little piece of the firewall sitting down right in here. And we're lined up pretty good on that. So this guy actually will come back to it. That'll actually match up about like that. So this is pretty close to where it needs to be. Going by the brake mounting bracket, I guess. Going by this guy, this would have been the very back of the firewall. So this, I would assume, needs to flush up with that, because then my new firewall will sit on top of it. And there may be a slight pull back up here, but I would think that's where that needs to sit. And then over here, you can kind of see where, you know, we're kind of coming out and going out at an angle here. And you can see my gap is pretty wide right there. So I think I'm going to need to get a relief cut somewhere in this neighborhood to get this guy to lean on back where he needs to go. Something like that, I think. Not 100%. Never done this part before, so figuring it out as we go. So yeah, hopefully I don't absolutely ruin this, but you know, worst case, we'll make it look good enough and I'll just keep the hood shut. So so anyhow, yeah, that's kind of what my thought was on this. So I'm gonna keep monkeying with this guy, see if I can't get it smoothed out and lined up a little bit better. And once that's done, then maybe look at the passenger side, see what we can do over there. And you know, obviously there's a little trimming, a little tweaking needs to go on over here. So I'm gonna work on that. And I'm not sure if I need to cut more out, cut and butt this guy, or hell, maybe do an overlap. You know, maybe do an overlap where it's just sitting on top and I weld it on top and seam seal the crap out of it. I mean, it is in the cowl, you don't really see that part, so I don't know. I'm gonna think on it. So let me do some ruminating and some adjustments and tweaking and see what we can do with this guy, and we'll catch back up here shortly. All right, so the flange is tacked in place. Just got 3 little tacks on it just to kind of, you know, hold it. So my little cheapy clips, you know, those aren't doing all that much good. They did good enough to hold it in for me to get some tacks on it. But it's hard to line the camera up so you can kind of see what's going on here. But as far as I can tell, everything's pretty lined up. I did end up using a board. Took a 2x4 I got with a level, and just try to level it out as much as I can against the brake mounting surface, that brake bracket. Try to mount it up there because I know this part needs to be flush with that. So whenever we sit down, we're going to be sitting on that. This piece will probably need to be cut out. Probably going to have to trim him out good little ways, maybe leave a little flange here and we can spot weld to it rather than doing a full stitch all the way up the sides here. But maybe leave a little flange here. But this little bump out here in the center is pushing everything out, so that's definitely got to go. I just need to figure out where we need to line it. But I'll probably go ahead and put the new piece of card, or the piece of cardboard back on the ram board, just kind of look and see how things are looking. I'll probably go ahead and start cutting these little bump outs out. Those guys don't need to be there. They're going to mess everything up whenever it comes time to doing everything anyways. So rather than fighting that and fighting everything else, might as well just go ahead and pull them off and cut them out. So I may go ahead and do all that here in just a few minutes. And yeah, let me put this piece of ram board back on. Be right back. All right, so with the ram board back on, isn't this nice? I can go ahead and draw out my cut line, and then I can go ahead and kind of trace this out and use that as kind of a guide and cut just inside it, because don't know if I won't need it or not, but you know, rather have it. I'd rather have it not need it than need it not have it. So so yeah, let me do a little tracing, and I'll fire the old cutoff wheel up again, and we'll get in here and do a little trimming back behind here. Maybe we can get this guy to sit a little bit better, and we get a little bit better idea about how things are going. So all right, let me do that, and I'll be back. All right, with those pieces cut out, look at that. It sits really nice. And it, yeah, there's still a little bit of a ramp here, and I'm not sure why that is. This end may need to come in a little bit, but I'm dead up here, and there's that. So, I mean, we're dead up on those two pieces, but we're still ramping back over here. So maybe that's just part of it. It just has a little flex to it. But yeah, went ahead and cut this piece out over here, and that sits up nice and flush. That looks really good. It's all coming together. Yeah, so I'm pretty surprised that's that easy as far as getting that all lined up. But there's still a lot of work to do here, because I still got to get my temporary flange that's spot welded in, get that guy in, and get him done to where this side can be mounted up and all that fun stuff. But I think for now we're just going to let that ride. I'm pretty pleased with that, how it's pretty flush across. So yeah, that's man, that's cool. I did something. That also gives us a look down here at the bottom about what we got to do here. So I've got to create a piece that basically butts up here and comes over, meets up. So that way I've got, something to attach to this toe board. So yeah, there's still plenty of work to do. But yeah, it's like 7:30. 8 o'clock, something like that, Sunday night. I'm tired and I'm hungry, so I think I'm going to call that a good stopping point for now. So we're going to let this just kind of ride overnight. I'm off work tomorrow, so I'm going to come back out tomorrow morning and get back at it. Hopefully it's not too terribly cold. Yeah, it's going to be cold. But I'll come back out tomorrow morning, get back at it, and I guess we'll address the passenger side, get him kind of temporarily set up, kind of get it figured out ish, which will be pretty much the same thing as over here. I may or may not film it, don't know, but it'll pretty much be the exact same thing as I did over here, just doing it over there. So yeah, I'll come out tomorrow, do some more of this stuff, and then we'll just go from there. So all right, I guess I'll see y'all in the morning. Well, good afternoon, folks. So it is, let's see, I recorded Sunday last week, and it's Saturday. It's actually late Saturday afternoon. I've been out here all morning working. I apologize for not getting the video out. That's, things happen. So I was on call last week, and my on-call runs from Monday to Monday, Monday 8 a.m. till Monday 8 a.m. And then, of course, this past Monday, I was hoping to come out here and actually do some of this work. And, well, I'd only slept about 45 minutes Monday night or Sunday night into Monday, just due to my phone going nuts. So, I pretty much slept most of the day on Monday. So I didn't come out and do a damn bit of work. But here we are, Saturday. I've been out here most of the day. I mean, it's been a good solid bit of the day. I don't know, probably 6 hours or so at this point. Checking things, having to redo things 2 or 3 times. But here's what we're at right now. I've got these guys in. This one's actually finished weld. It's not pretty, but it's in there. That ain't going nowhere. But got this guy in, got him, you know, measured up. Had to cut this out twice because I really screwed up the first time. I've still got to work this corner where it comes down. This may end up just getting cut right here, and I make new pieces to come down and catch this stuff as well. This guy, so I noticed with the cardboard in here, boy, it was oil canning so bad there's no structure here. So I went ahead and just bent up a little L bracket and welded this guy in nice and flush up here, flush down here, or flush-ish down here at the toe board, because this panel goes all the way flat straight down. So figured get a little bit of structure here in the center, because the only other support it's going to get is going to be coming from right here on the trans tunnel. So that's kind of where I've been at most of the day today. A lot of measuring, cutting, bending metal, screwing it up, cutting, bending metal. You know how it goes. Been working on that. Also I laid some beads down here, try to go ahead and get this finished in for the section that I know is good, which is this section here. It's about right there. So that section's welded in. That's real good. This metal still, I probably could cut another couple inches out of it, but we're not going to do that. Again, here on the corner, I'm not sure exactly how I want to do this. You know, take this and cut. I can, you know, I've got the option here to cut this and lay a fresh piece in and lay it down for this side right here. Yeah, still on the fence about all that. So just a lot of figuring and thinking and hemming and hawing and bending metal and cutting metal and welding metal, and you know, a lot of stuff going on today. But good news is passenger side's kind of, you know, roughed in, I guess you could say. Still got to work this guy, but we're getting to a point where I can actually start kind of formulating an idea here for that trans tunnel section. So I'm going to keep plugging away at this. Like I said, probably going to end up having to bend some more metal and do for this piece. Get me a little flange made up for that, because I pretty much cut the flange off. It should be out here. So I pretty much cut that flange off with all the rest. So yeah, a lot more figuring and bending and cutting and doing. So hopefully I'll have some decent video maybe tomorrow, just because this stuff today, it's frankly, it's the same thing over and over and over again. So I'm gonna keep at it, and we'll catch up when it gets to be something interesting. I think I might have figured out how I need to do this side. You can kind of see what I've done here is just taking a little flat piece, welded it in, because this is, you know, the edge. This is where it needs to live. But I've got to fill this gap. So I just took a little bit of ram board, set it in there, traced it out. So I'm going to cut it out a little bit bigger than what I traced. Probably only like an 1/8 inch, something like that. Maybe go up to a quarter, maybe a quarter. I can always trim off. But yeah, I figure I can cut this piece out, which will mesh up with that. You can see where I screwed up my drawing, my tracing earlier. But set that in there, you know, get this cut out, cut it out to metal, and then I can take and find something round-ish and beat it and make it kind of follow that contour. Maybe it'd be better to do that with a piece of metal first and then cut it out. I don't know the best practice here. So I'm going to transfer this to a flat piece of metal, a little bit bigger than it should be, and then I can always trim it back you know, and then curve it and try to figure out how to curve it. Gotta find something to beat on first. I think I got an old fire extinguisher over there. That should be enough, I think. So anyhow, that's kind of where we're at right now. Doing that, just doing some cleaning up stuff, but not a whole lot has changed over the last hour and a half, 2 hours maybe, something like that. So all right, I'm gonna get back to it, and we'll see what we can figure out here. All right, next day. There was an incident last night. So I think we left off where I was cutting out a piece of metal for that little section right in there. And I was just going to kind of, you know, trim it down, make it work. So I got it roughly cut out using the angle grinder. So then I was like, wait a minute, I've got a bench grinder over here. So let me come over here and use my bench grinder. So I'm going to go ahead and give you a little heads up. If you're in the market for a bench grinder and you think about going to Harbor Freight and buying this piece of crap, save your money. I bought that one. It's probably a year ago, something like that. It's their little 5-inch bench grinder. I forget, what is it? I don't know what type of horsepower rating it has. It's like probably negative. As I put the metal on there to grind down the edges and try to clean them up a little bit, it literally would stop. Like, it would start humming and just stop. It ain't got enough guts to get out of its own way. So it's, yeah, it's just a piece of crap. So that guy is going to find his way into a trash can. So I was like, you know what? I can do this a hell of a lot faster using my my flat disc. So that's what I did. And yeah, that's where the fun came in. So so I'm freehanding this guy and just trying to, you know, trying to clean it up and everything. You might notice that it's slightly deformed and you know, bent. Yeah, you can see there it grabbed the flat disc, or the flat disc grabbed it. And yeah, it flung it right into the palm of my hand. So went through my glove, nice little hole there. And then it ended up putting a nice little hole right in my hand. So I had to cut the night short and go to the urgent care to get some stitches, because I knew instantly that was bad. It hurt. I know it sounds like it hurt, and by God it did. So luckily, you know, it was attached to this piece of metal that went in. I believe it was this end that went in my hands. It kind of is about that size of a hole. Yeah, that went pretty deep. Hell, it went pretty doggone deep. So probably over the next week or so, I'm going to be on the hunt for a decent bench grinder on like Marketplace or something. Try to find something that was made in the 60s or 70s. It's just, you know, it's about the size of a boat anchor. It weighs about as much. Maybe it'll have a little bit of guts to it, and I don't have to worry about doing that again. But hey, plus side. I plus side to all this is, you know, it kind of gave a little shape to this with all that built up kinetic energy that it expelled rapidly onto my hand. It actually, I mean, it actually shaped it pretty damn close. I mean, come on. It's not going to take a whole lot more work. Good God. If anything, I'm a glass half full kind of guy. But unfortunately, that kind of puts an end to my weekend's activities. You know, not a big fan of getting out here cutting, grinding, and doing. Plus, you don't realize how much you use a body part until you're just, you know, until you've injured it. And you're just like, wow, that kind of stings. That hurts a little bit. Oh, God, I might tear a stitch. I don't want to do that. That type of thing. So, so it's kind of shut me down. So I did talk to the doc last night while they were stitching me up, and I was like, it's been a minute since I've had stitches, so what's the protocol here? What do I need to do? And he's like, well, you need to give it at least, 2, 3, maybe even 4 days. Let that thing close up good before you start, doing anything out in the shop and blah, 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 blah. Keep it clean, all that fun crap. So it's still technically, it's closed, but it's not closed by much. God, that thing looks nasty. We're just going to shut it down while we're not really ahead anymore, but we're just going to shut it down right there. So good news is got a little bit of contour to this guy, which it kind of needed anyhow. There's still a little bit more work to do on that. But the basic shape's there. The basic contours there. Jeez. So I should be able to get back out here next weekend and do some work. If for some reason I can't come out and do work, I don't really see a reason why I couldn't. But if for some reason I can't, we'll find something else to do. I got a couple things in the back of my mind. I'm going, yeah, that might make for a good weekend. So if I can't come out here and work, we'll find something else to do, and I'll film it and bring it to you. Here's where we're left off. We've got our little support brace here. I've got this little flange thing kind of done. This guy's partially shaped thanks to that guy. Talk about a hand job. God almighty. So we got a lot done. I was looking over here on the driver's side. I probably won't have to worry about doing a flange so much over here because I probably have enough meat here to be able to drill some holes and do some spot welds down along this spot. And it may or may not work out over here. This might have to be butt welded up. I don't know yet. Yeah, we're in pretty good shape. Pretty good shape for what we're doing here. So anyhow, so wrapping this one up, I do appreciate y'all guys watching. If y'all guys want to follow me on social media, that information is listed down below. I don't post a ton, but I am trying to do better on that. If you got any questions, comments, concerns, what have you, give me a shout down there in the comments. I do read through them all. If you like the video, be sure and hit the like button. If you made it this far and you have not subscribed, what are you waiting on? Just click the subscribe button. Both the likes, subscribes, and comments, all that crap helps with the algorithm, helps get the channel out there a little bit further, and just kind of helps the channel to grow. So I do appreciate it, folks, and don't worry, I'm fine. It's no big deal. It's just a hand. I have a backup over here. So so y'all guys take it easy. We'll see you next time, and just remember, folks, it ain't got to be perfect, just good enough.